Hello, 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 hello. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi. Oh, you can't see me.
Yes.
That might help. Hello. How are you? How is everyone?
Oh, yeah, good, thank you.
Thanks, you.
Yeah.
Okay, getting less stiff.
Yes. What was it? You slipped on a potato peel or something, did you say?
Yes, I was stepping over something in the kitchen and put my foot down without seeing it was there on a potato peeling.
No.
They say the most.
Start my recording. Okay. All right, so let's take our parallel stance, roll our shoulders back and close our eyes, and we'll just focus on our Pilates breath. So lovely deep breaths in through the nose, filling those lungs up. And exhale, release that air out through the mouth. So just keep breathing using the full capacity of those lungs. Sorry about this. I'll sort my light out. Fill those lungs out. You can place your hands on your ribs to feel them expanding and reducing as you breathe as well. Exhale, just relax into those feet. Inhale, fill up the lungs. Exhale, think about relaxing those shoulders as well and growing through the top of the head, getting taller and taller each time you breathe. Wonderful. Let's just add some arms. Inhaling, opening up onto the toes if we're happy going onto the toes. Exhale, push that air out through the mouth, down into the heels, sweep it across. Inhale, up onto those toes, reach through those fingertips. Exhale, back down. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, deflate. Inhale. Wonderful. Let's do a couple more of those. One more. Great stuff. So let's think about those feet. You want to balance over the big toe, the little toe, and the heel. So we're just going to rock from side to side, just allowing those hips to rotate a little bit as we go from side to side, allowing ourselves to lose balance and just thinking about how our core is responding to that shift in weight. Keep on taking those lovely deep breaths. And then gradually start thinking about that big toe, the little toe and the heel. Those are the points over which we want to be balancing. We want to spread our weight evenly over those 3 points. Wonderful. Let's go with the head. So go to the left, roll that chin down to the chest and looking towards the right. And back to the left. Keep those knees soft. Roll that chin down, up to the right. Really think about that range of movement. Keep the shoulders relaxed the whole time. Keep breathing. Remember to be aware of that core. So your pelvic floor muscles are the powerhouse when we're doing Pilates. So we want to be aware of those pelvic floor muscles, keep them engaged as we keep breathing, loosening that neck up. Okay, wonderful stuff. One more on the other side. And coming back to center. Okay, we're going to go into a bit of rotation. So we need to be taking that T shape with our feet. So one foot is perpendicular to the other, both arms pointing towards that front foot, and you're going to step them apart so they're about a hip width apart. And you want those hips to be facing towards that front foot, and you're keeping them in that position, none of this rotation. So we're going to take those arms parallel to one another, take a lovely deep breath in and zip up through that core, keep those shoulders relaxed. And on the exhale, opening up into that shoulder and stretching. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, come to the elbow and stretch. So we're trying to keep those hips facing forwards as much as we can. Keep those shoulders relaxed the whole time. Remember, there's a nice space between the chin and those shoulders. And if you'd like, you can lengthen that arm as well. Inhale, back to center. Exhale into the elbow and then follow through with the arm, following it with the head the whole time. Inhale, back to center. So think about that rotation coming from the lower back. And really think about those lengths, that length from fingertip to fingertip. Exhale, open, keep those shoulders relaxed. Inhale, back to center. Let's do one more on this side. Wonderful. We're just going to swap those legs around. So it's actually the same, but on the other side. And we're going to face that front foot again. Remembering our elongation through the neck, tall as we can be. Lovely deep breath in, engage that core. Exhale, out to the elbow. Inhale, back to center, keeping those hips pointing forwards. And keeping those shoulders relaxed. And then, if you want to, straighten in that arm as well. Remembering that rotation coming from the lower back. Mind yourself, you want your weight to be central between those two legs. So try not to lean on the front or the back leg.
Sorry, Heidi.
That's okay, I'll pop you on mute. Just carry on a couple more rotations.
Matt will be here in a minute, all right?
Okay, all right.
Sorry.
Oh, no problem. All right, let's do one more on that side. And then come back to center. Just rotate back to center and rotate those shoulders for a few repetitions. And then come forwards. And then resetting them by rolling back and relaxing. We're going to go into some side stretching now. So again, inhale through the nose, engage through that pelvic floor. So those muscles that saddle the bladder in the back. On the exhale, just allow yourself to come down to the side, thinking about that side bend, making sure we're not leaning forwards or backwards with the chest. And then we're going to stretch up in the opposite direction, remembering that bottom arm needs to stay completely relaxed. Breathe in. Exhale as you move. Inhale as you stretch. Exhale back to that reach. And inhale, stretch. Keeping those shoulders relaxed. Inhale, stretch. Think about your range of movement. Try and stretch a little bit further each time, but remember the whole time that you want to make sure you're not leaning forwards or backwards, and you're also not tensing that jaw or those shoulders. Remember that lovely space between the chin and the chest the whole time. Inhale, reach. Exhale and stretch. breathe in. Let's make this our last repetition on this side before we swap to the other side. So let's start with a reach there. Inhale, exhale, moving. And inhale, stretch. Remember to keep that body parallel to the wall in front of you, no lean forwards or backwards with that chest. Inhale and stretch. And so we're always inhaling as we stretch, exhaling as we're moving. And keeping those shoulders relaxed. Let's do 2 more repetitions on this side. Trying to get that just a little bit more range of movement, as far as you can go. And finishing with that arm. Wonderful, back to center. So let's go into the toy soldier. So we just want to make sure we're keeping those hips level as we just lift each heel, just alternate between the heels. And just allow yourself to breathe. You can kind of breathe freely with this exercise. You need to make sure those shoulders are staying completely relaxed the whole time. And just really push through those toes and those heels as you lower them. So it's a very intentional move. Keeping that core engaged. And for the arms, we want to just lift the opposite arm to the heel that's lifted. And then swooping forwards. Again, make sure you keep those hips level. See my stripy top, it makes it really obvious if I tilt them at all. Have to behave. Think about stretching through those shoulders each time you repeat. Wonderful stuff. Okay. So let's do 2 more on each side. One more on each side. Back to center. Wonderful. So we want to take our weights. So they're about 500 grams. Nothing too heavy unless you want a challenge. We're just going to do some simple arm exercises from standing. So again, make sure you've got nice alignment here, tall as you can be, and shoulders relaxed. We'll just start with some curls. So inhale, exhale as you lift. Inhale, release. Exhale, lift. Inhale, release. That core engaged. Inhale, release. Wonderful. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. And last one. Beautiful. Bringing those hands to the shoulders. We'll reach up on the exhale. Inhale back to shoulders. Exhale up. Inhale back to shoulders. 3. Remember, you're using your core strength for this exercise as well, even though it seems like just an arm exercise and shoulder exercise. Throughout everything we do, we want to make sure that core is engaged. It's always our powerhouse. 6. 4 more. 3. 2. And your last repetition. Wonderful. And then we will open up as well. So opening And then back to the shoulders. 9. Inhale back. 8. Exhale open. Inhale back. 6. 5. 4. 3. 2 more. And last one. Wonderful. Okay, let's just release these weights aside. We might need them a bit later in the class. And we're going to come to the back of our mats. We're going to take our parallel stance. We'll go into our roll down. So rolling those shoulders back, lengthening through the front of the neck. Chest is completely open. Make sure you're not collapsing back with the head or the back. You're just thinking about length through the front of the body. Inhale. On the exhale, you're rolling those shoulders forwards, releasing that head. Arms, shoulders, and head completely relaxed as you articulate that spine, coming down vertebrae by vertebrae. Knees are soft, but those legs are as straight as possible without locking them out. Take a lovely deep breath in at the end. And on the exhale, you're using that core strength, the glute strength, hamstrings, as well. As you step back up, imagine there's a wall behind you. Open that chest up, lengthen through the front of the neck and stretch. Inhale. Exhale to repeat. Release the head, the arms, the shoulders completely and articulate that spine. Last thing to pivot is your tailbone, and you're going to go as far as you can go. Take a lovely deep inhale at the end and exhale. Pivot those hips, that tailbone first, and follow that with the rest of the spine. Flattening that back and then open up the chest. Take a deep breath in. So we're going to do a few repetitions. Just go in your own time, but make sure you're not doing these roll downs too quickly. Each time you come down to the floor, try and get a little bit more range of movement out of that if you can. Remember, you're exhaling as you move and inhaling at the end of each movement. So always inhaling as you stretch. Excuse me. Exhale as you really think about that spine made up of all those vertebrae. Think about those vertebrae separately. So each time you're stacking them one on top of the other. Okay, lovely deep inhale at the end. So as ever, this is a great stretch, going all the way down the back of the body. So the calves, the hamstrings, the glutes, the lats, shoulders as well. Intercostal muscles, everything in between really. Lovely deep breath in. Exhale. Going to do a couple more individual ones and then we will hold it down there. Okay, so your next repetition, we're going to stay in that inversion. Remember, if you are uncomfortable staying in that position, please just carry on with single roll down so you can go into a full body stretch on the mat. So we're just going to stretch off those traps a little bit more by cradling the elbows and just allowing those arms to hang there. So the weight of those arms is stretching through the back of the neck, the shoulders, as well as down the spine as well. And we're just breathing, making sure we keep our balance. feeling that stretch through the backs of the legs as well. Just feel your muscles getting longer as you hang. Okay, in your next exhale, we're going to step back up. We're going to do that one more time. Breathing in, reaching through. In fact, let's go into a V stretch here to lengthen through the front of the chest and the front of the neck and the front of the stomach as well. Remember, none of this taps in back. We need to just think about length, but we're supporting the head and the back the whole time. Okay, on your next exhale, put it back down into that roll down. And again, you're going to cradle those elbows and just allow yourself to hang there for a few breaths. Just visualize reaching all the way down to the floor. Head, neck, shoulders, everything completely relaxed, just cradling those elbows with the hands. Okay. So let's release those hands, go into a downward dog position. If we've loosened off those calves well enough, hopefully we can get those heels to the mat. So nice inverted V shape. And then we're just going to, like with the toy soldier, just lift each heel one at a time, as if we're running on a spot. Again, just breathing slowly with this. Gentle movements. Stretching those calves off even more. Okay, let's do 4 more on each side. 3 more on each side. 2. Wonderful. Just allow those knees to drop. We want to come to a seated position across that mat. So we want to be in this position. Knees are parallel to one another, about hip width apart. And remember, actually, because we're going into the roll up, you don't want a cushion underneath the bottom. So make sure you don't have a cushion underneath the bottom for this exercise. We'll just start with those arms straight forward, shoulders relaxed, lovely space between the chin and the chest, deep inhale. On the exhale, allow that body to be curved down. And then just go as far as you can go without losing control. Lovely deep breath in at the end. And exhale, coming back up. Inhale, stretch through those fingertips and reach forwards. Okay, exhale, curving that spine, coming down vertebrae by vertebrae again. As far as you can control. You don't want any jolting. And remember, you still want that nice space between the chin and the chest. So you're never squishing the chin into the chest. Always think about your alignment. Now, if you can go all the way down to the floor, that's absolutely fine. Deep breath in, stretch to the ceiling, to the wall above the head. And then on the exhale, we'll come back up. And then reach through those fingertips again. So you're either doing the part roll up or the full one. Remember, you want to keep that space between the shoulders and the ears. Lovely alignment the whole time. Also remember, if you are really close to doing that roll up without jolting, just place a cushion or a rolled up towel underneath the lower back like that, and that will just support you, especially if you've got a lordosis, so curvature of the spine. That just provides a little more support and allows you to articulate ankle. Okay, so we're going to add some progressions to this exercise. We're going back into our teaser prep. Remember, the progressions are always optional. So if you want to just carry on with part roll downs, roll ups, that's absolutely fine. We're just going to add a leg lift. So straightening that right leg, breathing in at the top, and then calming back up. And to swap, if you can, both legs up and then the opposite leg down. If that's difficult, we can do it the other way. So instead, you'd be lowering that leg and then lifting the other leg. So whatever one works for you. Remember, breathing in at the end of the movement, exhaling as you come back up. So when we're in that central position, that is the teaser position. So that would be as close as we've got to it. So even if you're just doing the part roll-ups, you can still go ahead with those legs as well. Whatever works best for you. Okay, so let's do one more with each leg. So this is an exercise where you can get tired quite quickly and then you end up jolting, which is not ideal. Okay, wonderful. Just coming back up to center. Let's release those legs and we'll go into a full body stretch. Allow your back to arch slightly so you can stretch off those abdominal muscles. And just take a few breaths there. Stretching through those toes, so point those feet first. Fingertip to tip of the toe, and then we want to flex those feet and stretch through the heels as well. Targeting calves and hamstrings. Wonderful stuff. Okay, so let's come back to this position. So knees are parallel to one another again, about a hip width apart. And we just want to roll those shoulders back underneath our upper back. Arms are open and palms are facing towards the ceiling. So nice open chest here. Remember the space between the chin and the chest. And let's just look up towards the wall above us as we breathe in. And exhale, squish that chin down into the chest. And inhale, lengthen the front of the neck. And exhale, looking down. Inhale, look below. Exhale, drop the chin to chest. Remember to keep those shoulders relaxed and open. Okay, so let's just make those movements smaller and smaller until we've found our central position for our head, so looking directly up above us. If you don't naturally look directly up, remember you can always place a cushion underneath your head or something a bit bigger if that's better for you. So we'll just go in with setting neutral. So inhaling, engaging through that pelvic floor. So we're going to close that gap between the lower back and the mat and imprint into the mat. So imagine that belly button is touching the back of the mat. So those muscles we're engaging are the pelvic floor muscles, the ones that saddle the bladder and the bowels. So that's that whole sling of muscles underneath your pelvis. Inhale and make sure that you're imprinting. And on the exhale, we release and just allow that space between the lower back and the mat to open up. Inhale, engage and imprint. Exhale, tilting that pelvis forward as we release. Inhale, engaging and imprinting. Exhale to release completely. And again, try and get a little bit stronger with these imprinting. So each time you repeat, try and engage those muscles that little bit more strongly. Keeping those shoulders relaxed, keeping that chest open the whole time. Jaw is relaxed as well. You just want to place your arms either side of the hips. It's just easier for you to see if my arms are not in front of my head. So exhale as you open up. Inhale, engage. You want to make sure those legs are staying completely parallel to one another. So next time we're going to do this as strongly as we possibly can. So engage, really, really strong there. Exhale, release, and even stronger this time. Inhale, engage as strong as you possibly can. Exhale, release. One more, even stronger. Hold that for a couple of breaths. And exhale, let's release. Let's go into some big circles with those hips. And then make those circles smaller and smaller. We just want to find that central position. So there's still a small gap between the lower back and mat. Your pelvic floor is engaged about 30%. And we're going to place those arms, palms face down now, and go into some shoulder bridge exercises. So inhale, engage again, close that gap between the lower back and the mat. Exhale as you come up, vertebrae by vertebrae, onto the shoulders, engaging glutes at the top, hips are pointing towards the ceiling, deep breath in. And on the exhale, lay that spine down as if it's a strand of pearls. Really articulating there, lovely deep inhale at the end. And exhale to repeat. So you still want there to be a nice space between the heels and the bottom. If you place those feet too close to the bottom, then the legs will be doing more of the work and the core will not. And we always want to focus on that powerhouse, that Pilates powerhouse that is our pelvic floor. Lovely deep breath in at the top, engage through the glutes. Exhale, calming down. Remember that space between the chin and the chest the whole time. That head is staying in alignment. Okay, so your progression today is just to sway. So what we're doing is lifting that left hip up higher, the right hip is further drop, back to center, and then coming up, pushing through that right hip, back to center, a little bit quicker than before, so you'll be exhaling as you lift the hip, inhaling as you come back to center. Exhale, lift on the other side. Inhale, back to center. So whichever one you prefer, you can carry on with those normal shoulder bridges, or you can come into these swaying ones, really pushing through each hip. And that way you're targeting those glutes as well as that core. Let's speed it up a bit if we are doing progression. So quicker shoulder bridges, making it a little bit more challenging on those glutes, that core, your glutes. Okay, we're going to do a few more breaths worth of exercise. So a couple more repetitions on each side. And coming to your last one of whatever you're doing now. And let's hug those knees into the chest. Anti-clockwise circles with the knees. Don't know why I started with anti-clockwise. I always start with clockwise, but let's mix it up today. So circling those knees. And then going in the other direction. And then again, just pulling through. You can place the hands underneath the knees if you like, just to feel that stretch through the glutes And then rotating those ankles as well. And then just allow that stretch to change as you stretch off the tension in those glutes. Okay. So we're going to do a couple more exercises for the core here. With these exercises, the standard is to lift the head back and up and back with whatever we're doing. But remember, if that is too much of a challenge for you, or if you're feeling a lot of tension in the neck, then please just keep the head, neck and upper back still on the mat. So we'll start with the single leg stretch. So you want your outside hand to be on your outside ankle as you hug that knee in. The inside hand is on the inside of the knee. So from the other side, that's like that. And we're going to pull in for 2 and then swap. So inside hand, inside knee, outside hand, outside ankle. Pull in for 2 and swap. So we're exhaling as we pull in, inhaling as we swap. Keep that core engaged, try and keep that stomach as flat as possible. And remember that space between the chin and the chest as well. Remember, the lower the leg, the more challenging the exercise will be. So just give that core a little bit more of a lever. Exhaling as you pull, inhaling as you swap. Remember not to tense the jaw, don't tense the shoulders at all. Let's do 3 more pairs. Come into 2 more. Come into your last one on each side. Wonderful, bring it in together if you can. Try and keep that head, neck and upper back up. We'll go into straight leg stretch. So similar to before, but with the legs straight instead, and you're just holding behind the calf. 2 pulses, swap, 2 pulses and swap. Try and keep those legs as straight as possible, reaching through the toes as well. Remember not to hug the chin into the chest. Trying to keep that tummy as flat as possible. And remember, if your neck is getting tired, please just relax it onto the floor. You can still do these exercises with that on the floor, and it's still a good challenge for the core as well. Keep breathing the whole time. Let's do 3 more on each side. 2 more on each side. And your last one on each side. Wonderful. Let's release that completely and come back into our full body stretch. Allowing that back to arch again and pointing through the toes. Bring yourself back to that Pilates breathing. Deep inhales through the nose. Exhale and releasing all that air out through the mouth. Until you need to take another deep breath in through the nose. And flex those feet, stretch through the heels. Good stuff. Okay. Just a little bit more work and then we'll come into our cool down. So let's go into some of the side leg series. You can tell I don't want to move. So lining the bottom shoulder, elbow up and on the back of the mat. So that's all in a straight line. The legs are about a 45-degree angle in front. So his hips are stacked one on top of the other. That top hand is in front of your core, but you're not putting any pressure on it. It's just there to remind you to engage through the core. And also if you do lose your balance, obviously it's there to stop you from toppling too far. We're going to take a lovely deep breath in. And on the exhale, let's just lift that top leg to about hip width. Inhale there. And on the exhale, let's kick forwards for 2. Inhale, we're going to flex and stretch back for 1. Kick forwards for 2. Inhale, stretch, kick back as far as you can for 1. Making sure the top of the body is staying really strong and keeping that core engaged. It's always doing the work. Shoulder needs to be completely relaxed. Exhale, kick forwards for 2. Inhale, stretch back for 1. If you do want to challenge yourself a little bit more, you can remove that hand from in front of you completely. Okay, let's do 3 more repetitions of this. And 1 more. Inhale, back to center. Let's come back. And we'll just go into some circles. So starting clockwise, you want to tap your heel every time. 20, 19, 18, keep that core engaged. 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, and in the opposite direction, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, do an extra 1 because I miscounted. There we go. So keeping those legs straight, we're going to point the top leg and we're going to allow that to float up as high as we're comfortable coming. And then we're going to flex and we're going to pull down. Imagine there's something really strong that you're having to pull down to the floor, really resisting, again, using that core, those deep internal core muscles. Inhale, floating up again. Exhale, resist, pushing down. Imagine there's a band holding your leg to the ceiling. You're resisting against it. Inhale, point and lift. Exhale, flex. Engage. Inhale, point and lift. Exhale, resist. Keep on breathing the whole time. Remember your alignment, space between the chin and the chest, shoulders relaxed. 2 more. And 1 more on this side. Lovely stuff. Okay, coming up to center. Let's give those legs a little bit of a shake and a wobble, and then we'll go straight over onto the other side. So again, remember you want to be lined up against the back of your mat. I forgot to say last time, sorry, but remember you always have the option, if you are uncomfortable propping that head up, you always have the option to lie down on that flat arm as well, with a cushion in between the arm and the ear, if that works for you. So whatever works best. Again, remember that hand is in front, just to remind you to engage that core. Let's exhale as we lift up that top leg to about hip width apart and take a breath in. And on the exhale, point forwards for 2. Inhale, flex back for 1. Inhale, flex back. Point, point. Inhale, flex. Point, point. Inhale, flex. Keep the top of the body strong and still. Keeping that core engaged the whole time. Let's do 3 more. Inhale, flex. 2 more. And your last one. Coming into those circles, remember to tap the heels. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, swap sides, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Point that top toe and we will float up on the inhale and flex, engage, resist as you lower that leg. Again, inhale, floating up. Exhale, engage and resist. Remember, all the time, you want those shoulders to be relaxed, you want that jaw to be relaxed. You want the top of that body to be in alignment. Inhale, float up. Exhale, really push down. Let's do 3 more of those. Come to 2 more. And your final repetition. Great stuff. Let's come back up to center. And again, shake those legs off. We'll just go into some gentle spinal rotation. So you want those feet to be flexed, legs glued together. No wobbling through the hips or the feet. We want that all to stay really strong, really still. We've got our 3 arm positions. You can either have your arms crossed across your chest, elbows out, trying to keep those elbows out of your field of vision with the hands by the ears. We can have those arms out in a lovely straight line, and you are always welcome to hold your weights as well. So whichever one you prefer, take a lovely deep breath in, and on the exhale, let's rotate to the side. Looking towards that back shoulder with the head. Inhale and stretch. Exhale, rotate to the other side, making sure those hips aren't moving, making sure those legs aren't moving. Thinking about a tiny waist, and imagine yourself as a corkscrew. Each time you turn, you're getting taller and taller. Remember, if you are collapsing back a little bit on your back, you can always sit on a cushion. Remind yourself to flex those feet, keeping them glued together, reaching up towards the ceiling with that head. Spinal rotation coming from that lower spine the whole time. Tiny waist. Let's do 3 more on each side. Two more on each side. Into a further repetition on each side. Wonderful. When you're ready, back to center, just lift those knees into the chest. I'm going to a stretch here. Relaxing that forehead onto the knees and allowing those shoulders to stretch and relax. Wonderful. Okay. And then we want to lengthen those legs. Again, flex those feet and come into a spine stretch forward with the feet flexed. Stretching all the way around the back of the spine. Remember to keep those feet as flexed as possible. It's a lot easier to go lower down towards the legs if the feet are more relaxed, but we want to flex them to get that stretch into the calves as well. Keep that head completely relaxed, so the weight of the head again is stretched off the back of the neck. And focus on those Pilates breaths. So we're going to come onto our fronts. Just placing one forearm underneath the forehead to support yourself. You're just going to a quad stretch here. So my left arm is bent, my forehead is rested on the forearm, and then I'm folding up the right knee and stretching through that quad, holding the right ankle with the right hand. Taking a few breaths there. You can place that hand above the ankle, then you can go into some rotation with the foot as well. Okay, let's swap sides. Okay, just releasing that. We're going to come up onto all fours to go into the cat stretch. So knees directly underneath the hips, hands directly underneath the shoulders. Inhale, and on the exhale, let's tuck that tailbone under, release the head, shoulders are sliding down as you stretch towards the ceiling with that spine. And let's just hold that for a few breaths. And make sure that head and that jaw are relaxed. And then tilting the other way. Again, think about the leg through the front of the body rather than allowing it to collapse in. So think about stretching the arms, stretching the front of the neck. Going back into our cat stretch. So think about those shoulder blades sliding away from one another. Imagine there's a band around your waist pulling you up towards the ceiling. And it's completely relaxed. And then round at the back, stretching through the front. Wonderful. Coming back to neutral, let's thread that right arm through the keyhole on the left, releasing ourselves onto the mat. And take a few breaths into that stretch. Releasing, staying on the other side. Listening through the arm. Getting that stretch around the shoulders. Into that lower spinal rotation as well. And just take a few lovely deep Pilates breaths there. So remember, inhale through the nose. Exhale, release all that air out through the mouth. through there. And exhale, releasing that out. Okay, so let's come into our shell stretch. Releasing the bottom onto the heels, lengthening through the arms, tightening the outsides of the shoulders. And then crawling down to the left, targeting the outside of the body again. Okay, and finally just come around to the right as well. So let's come up to standing. You can, if you like, tuck your toes underneath and come to a reverse roll down. If not, just come up in your own time, in your own way. Making the chest. And let's go into some forward circles. Inhaling as we go onto the toe. Exhaling down into the heels. Inhale onto the toes. Exhale down into the heels. And this time, lowering those heels and coming into that final roll down. Stretching as far as you can. Just taking a few breaths there. Lovely stuff coming back up. Circling those arms behind onto the heels and inhale. Exhale down. Final rotation. Well, let's just roll those shoulders back, release, have a little bit of a jiggle and a shake if you need to. And we are all finished, guys. So thank you very much. And I hope to see you next week.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Heidi.
Bye.
That was very loosening. Thank you.
I'm glad. See ya.